Hi everyone, this is GeoWheel from Productions², and we're back to continue our Sword of the Stars Let's Play walkthrough. I finished the walkthrough for SR3 finally, and this is the one that we're still waiting on, so we'll see what happens with this game we're playing right now. In case you're wondering why things have been not showing up on the channel for, it's been a lot of procrastination along with me not wanting to actually do all the hard work to get some of this footage ready to render and upload because of all the screw-ups I've done with having play call crash and things like that. Because it's a whole process. You have to put the footage through, load it into Virtual Dub, which takes about anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes depending on how large it is. If it's a crash from PlayClaw going to the 126, 129 limit, then it'll take about 12 minutes, probably max, usually, to load, because it has to go in and kind of index every frame, since the index is missing when that happens, and then I have to go through and re-render it into a proper AVI file from Virtual Dub, which takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, maybe even a little bit more than that, depending on what's going on in the background and how my computer feels day to day. After that, I have to go into Audacity, fix the audio files. That's not hard. That takes maybe a couple minutes for a couple of video files. Then after that, you have to load it into Vegas and then put it all together and all that. So that part's, the last two things are not that difficult to do. The first part is hard because it takes so long, and for whatever reason, this recent footage that's been screwed up after fix has had additional issues with Vegas. So after I did all that and fixed it and put everything back together like it was supposed to be, Vegas would not load some of the footage. Actually, any of the ones that were fixed by Virtual Dub wouldn't load them properly. Vegas Pro 14 or 13 for that matter. And so what I had to do was, and this was, I hope I never have to ever freaking touch Adobe Premiere again, because that program is so unuser friendly. I could literally go shoot the people that developed it and designed it the way they did. So what happened was that I couldn't get the footage to load in Vegas for whatever stupid reason. It kept on crashing while I was trying to load the video files. I spent an hour and a half trying to figure out why and trying to get them to work and looking for reasons why it might not be working. Like maybe there's some settings problem somewhere or something, but that wasn't the case. It just didn't like the footage. And I could load in regular footage that hadn't been messed up at PlayClaw just fine. No issues whatsoever. I could put 10 hours of clips into Vegas and no issue. Drop those one files in that have been fixed, and just those in the timeline in Vegas would blow a gasket and crap itself and shut down. So I had to resort to using Premiere, CS6 Premiere, and it is not a lie to say that I literally stayed up the entire night putting all my stuff into Premiere. So normally when I'm putting together footage for to render them up for uploading to YouTube, it takes maybe 30 to 45 minutes to do, 13 to 20 parts worth of footage. Because really, you just put it into the timeline, you check to make sure the video and audio are lining up on both sides, trim off anything that's not, and then figure out if the next clip that you put in is part of the first clip or tied to it, so you put it in the same video. And then once that's done, putting in the regions to have the 30-minute chunks, chunkified to 30 minutes for the episodic nature of the series that we've been doing. Series, I guess is plural, that I've been doing for the last however many years. And it's just as simple as that. So now, enter Premiere with its heightened elitist view of how you should be working on stuff. To borrow parlance from Peter Griffin. It grinds my fracking gears with a little bit of Battlestar mixed in. Because Adobe has this elitist idea that, you know, well, you should never be segmenting footage into separate videos. That doesn't make any sense. So there is no regioning whatsoever. No whatever, you know, no regioning it can do within inside of an Adobe Premiere sequence itself on the timeline to make it render out one timeline as two different videos. It's impossible to do. So I had to go through, put in the footage, and I'm sorry I'm not doing anything, but this is just, you can just tell how much it irritated me because it took so long. But I had to go in, put the footage in, wait for it to finish loading, because here's the thing with Adobe Premiere is that when you load in the footage, it actually loads the footage in slowly, like so. Especially if you have huge files like I do, because, you know, I record this stuff at hours at a time usually. Well, not hours at a time, but, you know, 30, 45 minutes at a time per video, and that's like upwards of 80, 90 gigabytes per file. So it's loading this thing in, and it says it has like a media, what the hell's the term? Like media, preparing media or some stupid crap like that. And it doesn't show anything, and if you try and mess around with it, it causes the program to freeze while it's still loading, or it causes it to freak out and not do anything correctly. So after waiting for it to load and checking it to make sure that the files were correct, you have to go in and you have to mark in what you want to use in that sequence. So like I would drop in 30, like I drop in a 27-minute long clip, and nothing will be marked out on that. Use the entire thing. Drop in another 45-minute clip. You go to the 30 minutes and you mark in the beginning section when you use, mark out the rest of it. Now here's where the time-consuming bit comes in. You have to keep track of the timestamps that where you're marking your stuff in and out at. Because what you have to do then is you have to create a new sequence, which is basically like a new project in Vegas, and you have to drop that video file that you were segmenting using the marking in system back into that new sequence, and then you have to mark in the video after the point you're using in the previous video. So you have part A and part B. Part A is marked in the previous sequence, and in part B you're marking in after part A's timestamp onward for the second sequence. So you kind of see how that works. The only problem with that is it takes as long as hell. It literally took me, and this is not an exaggeration whatsoever, this literally took me 4.5 hours to do for something that should have taken me 20 minutes maybe tops in Vegas. It took me 4.5 hours to do in Adobe Premiere, which was to get what was the total? I think it was 13 hours worth of footage from SR3 and this in the timeline to render it out. I also wanted to add in the Mountain Blade Warband footage I had recorded but still haven't rendered out yet. So everything for that, as well as some new Reciteer stuff I just started recording, and then I just gave up because it took me that long just to get that. I have equally as much or more Mountain Blade Warband plus Reciteer footage. Both those together, not each individually. But I had basically twice the amount of footage I just put into Adobe at that point in time. That took me 4.5 hours. I figured, screw it, I'll only do that if I have to. And I might have to because there is a couple of files for Mountain Blade that were messed up and I fixed, and I think one of them didn't load when I did my testing. So the other ones did for some strange reason, I'm not sure why. But that's kind of what's been going on, and I've been letting Adobe run for the past day. It literally took 28 hours for it to render out 22 videos. It took, on average, it took about twice as long as Vegas does to render out its footage for the same settings. So I don't know. Adobe, if you're watching this video, go to hell. Your software sucks. Luckily I had that though, because I didn't have anything else installed. I would have to go dig through my email for my ULED Video Studio crap, and that's even more annoying than This seems kind of funny because I used to like live and die by ULED Video Studio back in the day, and now I see it as antiquated crap because Sony Vegas is so much better and easier to use. But yeah, so pro tip: never use Adobe Premiere ever. Always use Vegas Pro if possible because it's much easier to do stuff like that in. Although I will say that Adobe does have better transitions, but that's like saying that your car has a better muffler. Your beat up 1980s crappy ass car has a better muffler than a Ferrari or something, which technically isn't going to be true of anything, but just for the sake of argument, that's like the comparison between Adobe Premiere having good transitions and everything else about it that sucks. Anyway, so hopefully I'll only have to do that after I have to cut my hands off. Again, if I have to do that again. And let's get on with this now. So we are... I think... Okay, so we're in the middle of building fleets because I'm not researching anything. So we're building up some fleets to probably deal with some of these other planets here. Yeah, to build treasury, build fleets for defense, and also taking out these guys. And expansion too, I believe, as well. We were doing some more expansion, which is evidenced by these. So, let's have this guy move on to Keopak. And this guy we shall send to Tiamat 2, I guess. And I'm actually getting above 60 frame rate right now on... That's interesting on this. Normally it's not above 60. Oh, and I got a new mouse, so no more of that other crap that was happening before. I finally got tired of the thing. It might have been while I was working on the video stuff, or was it? When did I finally have enough of that stupid mouse? Yeah, I think I was trying to move footage in and out of Vegas. It's kept on, doing the misclicking and stuff and not working. And I finally said screw it, and I got a mouse off of Amazon. Got delivered next day. This is a Prime member. Got the Logitech MX Master mouse. It's not as utilitarian as the G700. Doesn't have all those extra buttons on it. At the same time, I didn't really use it. I just used like the back and forward buttons and maybe the other buttons during one walkthrough, during the Assassin's Creed walkthrough, and that was it. Just, I never used them otherwise. So I went for a mouse with less buttons, I should say. That's how I came to this one. The one feature I really like about this is that it has an automatic wheel lock mechanism. So, like, for example, once you do the settings for it, it has a sensitivity setting. Once you start rotating the wheel past a certain speed, it'll actually unlock and become free spinning, like the G700 does when you unlock it. This does have an unlocking button as well, so you can see no clicking, but it also has a manual setting. Well, you can't really hear it click, but you can tell it's not free floating, so to speak. But if I go faster, it'll start doing that. You can kind of hear the click, I guess. Just not the... So when you hear this, that, like, clicking noise, that's the lock mechanism of the wheel locking back onto the wheel. That's kind of annoying, though, as I have to have it set at a certain point, because, like, if I go like this, I want it to start free spinning, but at the same time, I'll routinely, when I'm going through, like, web pages or something, I'll routinely, like, hit that by accident, and it'll just do that. Like that. Otherwise, I have to go way too fast on the thing, and doesn't make too much sense. But so it's gonna be, might be kind of annoying at first, but I think I'll get used to it. I've already gotten used to it. So that's a pretty good mouse. Wireless. Has an insane battery life. Actually has a lithium-ion battery in it. No more rechargeable AA's. I think it's like a 240-hour battery life. So if I wanted to, I could unhook it now. Yeah, there we go. And I can go wireless for days with this thing. I actually haven't tried going wireless yet, so I don't know how long it'll last. I guess we'll see. So let's go ahead and continue what we were doing. So expansion and building up fleets to deal with these yellow and orange planets. We are still 6th place in the leader boards, but we'll see how we can do with that. How we can deal with that. Monel. Which is not habitable, yay. We'll send him over to Wester too.
We are yours to command, Morrigi.
Now, do we have anybody else that we can like send around somewhere? This guy's 21. Griffin.
We rise as one, Morrigi.
This guy's 0, I think. That's MK2 with 0 fuel. What about this guy? Zeta Reticuli. It's got 1 on fuel, so it's not going to be very useful. What about this one? Heavy C. Okay, yeah, we can do that one. So I'm going to go to Barak Core. Barak Core 2. What about these two guys? If they're the regular, the destroyer HRs, probably not going to be able to use them. Cruiser HRs, yes, probably will be able to use them. Do I have any extended range ships just sitting around somewhere? If I do, I want to get rid of them because they're not going to be the ones we want. Not going to be the HR extended HRs. They're going to be like the destroyers instead of the cruisers. I want the cruiser ones now. Faster and can go for more time. I don't think we do. Well, let's check actually. We can check. Fleets and extended range. Seriously, there's no extended range classification? What the hell is that? So colonizer, refinery, mining, repair, tankers, CNC, police cutter, construction, flagship, scan, and freighters. No extended range. Okay, ships, ship fleets with lots of ships in them. How come it's not organizing by ship size? Okay, there we go. So we got 65 at in deep space, so they're going to where? Pascal. Okay. We got these at Calipodi. Right. What about these guys? Okay. Colonizers, even more colonizers. Deep space going to Deneb 2. This being built at our homeworld. Attack fleet, defense fleet, whatever these are, who knows. Extended range with some tankers. Yeah, so I don't think we have any extended range ships in any great number anywhere. So, oh really, Anakatia is fully done. And also we're getting there on the populations too. Good. So what I'm going to do is we're going to build a bunch of heavy ERs. 10. Maybe not a bunch, but we'll build a few. Spend half of our treasury to do it.
More ships will be built.
but we need to. And then I also want to start just colonizing every speck of dust that I can colonize. Even if it's like a really crappy small planet. Which I think I already started to do, for the most part. Let me grab these. We'll send them over to Nosai. So the reticuli 2, except for that, like if it's a size 1 and like 400, screw that planet. It's not even worth it. It's not even worth looking at. Such a ridiculous thing. Size 1 450 hazard planet. Ah, there we go. Tully 2. That's acceptable.
As you say, Morrigi.
And we have this guy going back to Peck to check it out. See if we can colonize it. Oh, that's these guys. Okay. That was that 65 ship fleet. It's going down there to Pascal. Yeah. Moldrelnir. So, I think I had originally tried to colonize that, and then I got my arse whipped off of it. So, we have some fleets hanging around somewhere. Marshak 2. I think we had a fleet. We had a colony there, and then it got blown up. Where are our fleets at? Kalapodi. Okay, that's why we have the 25 there. We're dealing with the humans. Humans have a 23 ship fleet there. Are we building anything? Yes, we are. Blazers. Okay, cool. Looking for any of the, I'm looking for those fleets I saw earlier in the list. What the hell are those things? Down here, okay. Special repair. Our main problem is that we're only bringing in 2 mil a turn almost. What's our planetary development costs? 337 and 389 fleet. So our fleet maintenance cost is pretty big. So we could be bringing in 2.2 something, 2.3 mil a turn, but we need to bring in more than that. So interest. Why do we have interest? That's interesting. I never figured out what this interesting is for. Does that mean like we loaned some other empire money or something? It's like, what? Why are we getting interest payments? Yeah, total planetary income is 2.65. So almost half of it's going to other stuff. Well, a quarter of it almost is going to other things, actually. Just over 15%. Alright, let's check the ticker here, see what we got. Ships constructed everywhere, no. What's that? We got, terraforming stuff was done. Doing infrastructure now at Mental. Madhya 2 is infrastructure as well. Getty Prime 2 is done, but still not fully done developing, and no enemy fleets inbound. Good. So it's in the turn. Calipodi, we'll do that manual. No ships. Early, we'll do that auto. Cowlato. Set of Reticuli 2, no ships. Those are probably cloaked ships. And Deep Space, really, an intercept mission. War's End, MK7, Dread, Destroyer. I like it going after my extended range. So I'll only do manual on one of those. Because this is a more important battle. I'd say always manual planet battles at planets that you own. Even if you wildly outnumber them, because you just never know what the computer's going to do. And here we go, no, no, CNC ship, so do it this way. Oh, I took that one out fast. Problem is we don't have enough forces at once out to deal with them. This battle's turning out to be not so good. I don't think we even took out one of their ships.
System update.
So Lagash 2, size 9, but not habitable. At least not yet.
We rise as one, Morrigi.
Okay. Special repair. What we need to do is we need a Strike Force CNC. So it'll still take 2 turns for that though. Was that building, a barrage or an armor? I think it was an armor.